福生无量天尊，福生无量天尊。Welcome everybody from near or far, Tibet to the Discover Daoism Uniforms and Accessoires free class on Zoom. Please let us wait for 2 more minutes. Maybe some still want to join the class. Welcome everybody. My name is Liu from the German Daoist Education, and at the moment I am in Germany at the Wudang Temple in Germany. And I welcome everybody to join the class today. Wonderful. Okay, one more. Okay, then let's start the class. Welcome today, everybody. I'm Liu Weilin, and welcome to the Discover Daoism online class, free Zoom meeting. Today we want to talk about uniforms and accessoires, and I welcome all my Dao friends from America, Canada, and I see some European Dao friends as well. Welcome. And let's start, because today is the second class and we only have 40 minutes Zoom meeting time. The Zoom meeting is limited to 40 minutes, so we don't want to waste too much time. So let's just get into it. I prepared a few photos for you, and we start with Daoist uniforms. And as I explained in the last last class, we're gonna have very simple and basic knowledge or foundation knowledge for Daoists or Daoist interests, people who are looking for more information about this. And we just start with the most simple and most basic uniform. Let me see if you can also see the same like I see. Hopefully. Okay, now we only see black. The computer is very slow because the connection, but give me a second. Ah, there you go. So I hope you can see the same like I do. Please let me know if it's not. Yeah, all right, thank you. So there's a Daoist, and we call this the Xiao Dao or Xiao Dao Fu or Xiao Dao Fu, Han Fu, and usually, usually we wear blue. Now it's skipping. Blue or dark blue, and there's of course some other colors as well, like the white. It's really slow. I don't know why, but always the beginning. Anyway, okay, let me close this very quick and open. My computer unfortunately doesn't open the photos like I would like to. It's slow. Okay. Well, while we wait, yeah, there you go. Okay. So the same with the white uniform. As you see, we have a different shape. I make it very quick now. Here, this is Han style. We call Han style because the V shape, the same like I wear now, is a kind of V shape and a straight button down. This is a normal xiao dao or xiao hanfu, we call this. And usually this we wear the colors blue, black, or white. In the summer, you see more people wearing it white. In the winter, more darker colors. It depends also on the person's liking. And let me see if I can just go to the next one. This is not the one I want to show. But before we just look for the pictures, I would just okay, there you go. Talk about this one. We have different uniforms, and of course I have a list, and unfortunately it doesn't show the way I want it, but let's just take this opportunity and talk about this one. This we call Huang Si Bagua Yi or Bagua Fu. This is a Bagua Fu, Bagua robe. For normally you use this for ceremonies or just reciting or offering the scriptures. Yeah. This is also called Jingyi, but Jingyi I would also refer to the red ones. I hope I can show you now. It's opening. So I'm not quite sure which picture you see now. I guess the blue one. Maybe if you say blue, if you see the blue one, you thumb up. Okay. All right. So here's another version of the blue hanfu, and here we are at the. Here is a very famous Daoist practitioner from China, Jinhua, and she's wearing actually a long robe. And you see the long robe is not the same V shape. It has a crossing section on the chest, and you see the sleeves are quite long. And this is what we call changpao. And changpao in the normal colors is dark blue and black. And here you see from the back it's quite long and quite high, so the neck is also covered. Why we want to cover the neck is also to protect our Jingluo, the Qi meridians. And another very interesting or important side note is why the Daoists wear this kind of uniform anyway. It's because we want to honor the tradition of our ancestors, and in the lineages we usually wear different uniforms for different ceremonies, but the Daoists usually wear the kind of Hanfu or Han style clothing. Maybe more simplified, the really like emperor kind of Hanfu or Han style uniforms are very colorful, and usually Daoists wear blue, black, and white. It's the normal colors, and of course, as you can see here in the other two Daoists, they also wear the Bagua Fu or Bagua ceremonial uniforms. Here you see another very famous Daoist, also a student, a disciple of my Shixiong, of my Dao brother, Chen Ke. Chen Xingke is his name, and he's wearing another kind of uniform which is usually worn by Daoist priests, and this is called Fa Yi or Hua Yi. Hua Yi is like a special name for this kind of style or work. Most of them are handmade, and Fa Yi means just like the fashe, the ritual uniform or ritual clothing. You have also head and the crown, but we come to this a little bit later. Find another photo of the red Jingyi. Here, sorry if I just cross skip. Maybe next time I just number the pictures so we have a correct order. This is another version of the Changpao, and here you see is the color is black, and it's the same like the dark blue. You have the cross section here, and you have the buttons on the side, and I hope I can show you the Huijian. Here is a model, obviously. And this is a very good example. He's a model and he's just wearing the clothes for demonstration. The hanfu, this is a duanpao, or a short version of the cross-section part. And here on the side, you have two strings attached, and this is called huijian. But this huijian here is actually put to a knot, and this is wrong. So usually this will be open, and maybe in the next photo I can show you the right way to wear it. So here is very long. I hope you can see it. Sorry for the small photo. Can you see it clearly? Maybe just give me a thumb up. Yeah.
Yep.
So here's the, okay, more people are joining us. Welcome everybody to join us. For the people who are coming late, we are just talking about the huijian, and here is actually the red jingyi, what we wear, or the most people from the temples of the Lungmen Pai or Chunjun Pai wear the red uniforms during the morning and evening ritual or ceremonies. This is called jingyi because you wear it during the recitation of the scriptures. It's called scripture clothes or scripture robe. So, okay, more people are joining us. Welcome. And here in the middle, you have two strings attached. The strings is attached here. They are called the huijian, and huijian means the swords of wisdom. And there's a saying of Lü Dongbing or Lü Zu, which is called the huijian is cutting off three attachments or three desires, which is the desire or the worries, to be worried, anger, and sexual urge. So the huijian, the idea behind this is also helping us on our Daoist spiritual path. So, and usually you don't knot them together, but you leave them open. Okay. So like he does is just for show, and maybe some kung fu clothes. Also, you will see the clothes to not this, just to have a tighter clothing for the show, for the kung fu show. So here's a very old photo I downloaded, obviously, from a Daoist website, and here's just a design of how the robe looks, and this is also the hanfu or the long robe with the very long or wide sleeves. And here you can already see the yunxie, the shoes, and this is a special shoes. This is the gaogong xie, or the high priest shoes. We want to talk about the shoes a little bit later, but this is an old kind of design. You see here is also under the robe. Usually there's a kind of collar, a white collar, which covers also the neck. And this is only worn by Daoist priests during the ceremony usually. Okay. Here. Here you can see from the side a little bit less quality. Here the strings or the huijian are attached on the side. Usually on the long ropes, the short ropes also have this when they do have the cross section. The V shape, what I mentioned at the beginning, they do not have the huijian, the swords of wisdom. So here you see a lot of different kind of hanfu. I'm just giving an example. There's different styles of traditional Chinese uniforms, but none of these are usually worn by Daoists during the ceremonies. It's just to show that the tradition of these Daoist uniforms coming from the Han Dynasty, also later dynasties, some accessoires and hats, of course, they are also from Song and Tang Dynasty, but generally speaking, we wear most of the style of the Han Dynasty, Han. Okay, yeah, show this one. Okay, here we come to the most complicated kind of uniform. It's called the Fai or Huai, and this uniform is actually handmade. This photo I got from a Dao friend today, and he said this is handmade, and you can see there's a lot of symbols stitched, hand stitched on there, and it depends on what lineage the Taoist priest is following. There's many symbols also differ from lineage to lineage. So in general, there is you see here there's like the 3 dots here. I just call them for those who really don't know what this is. Here's a lot of dots around there, and there's some uniforms. I don't have the right photo now, which is also symbolize the moon circle. But here, obviously, it's not the moon circle. They are all round dots, and here at the top, there are all symbolize the 3 clarities, which is quite easy to understand. Yeah, you have the Sanqing or the 3 treasures at the top, and here you have probably, I don't know exactly what priest this is or who this is or what lineage he's following, but he is supposed to have the Shen, yeah, the gods of the different heavens, and in the middle, of course, you have the pagoda, different symbols of the yin yang, and maybe I have another good photo of the Jingyi here. Here's another example of this kind of uniform. It's also called Lianhuanyi, the kind of flower uniforms with different symbols. Here you have the Bagua, and if you go a little bit closer, also the quality of the photo is not quite good. You see here I have 8 artifacts or the 8 symbols of the immortals, the 8 immortals. Here you see the flutes, the kachaka, the fan, and such. And the Taoist priest here is wearing the uniform with the Huidian is a little bit lower. Here you have the dragon and tiger also extra symbolized on the sword of wisdom, yeah, which is also, yeah, just a symbol for yin yang basically. A lot of symbols also on the side, and he's wearing a hat. We come to the hat in a moment, and to the accessoires. He's wearing also accessoires, but before we start with the accessoires, I want to show this photo one more time, because there is also more things, of course, than the upper part. We have pants. We don't want to talk too much about this. Usually the Taoists in the temple wearing the socks, the vaze, and these are normally white. And shoes, and the shoes is a special section because there's several kinds of shoes, and here we just call these buxie or closed shoes. They are very famous in Beijing, so there's a brand which is called Beijing buxie, so Beijing style shoes, old-fashioned shoes. Go to the shoes. Okay, one moment. I open the shoes. Just takes a while. My computer is really slow with all this technique here. All right. So maybe it's closed again. Sorry. Here you go. So everybody see my shoes? Thumb up if you see it. All right, great. So this is called the Shifang Xie, the so-called 10 direction shoes. And on each side, inside and outside, you have 5 of these white spots, and they symbolize the 10 directions and the 8 direction forward. I don't need to name them. You already know 10 directions. So Shifang is a very common term in the Daoist community, the 10 directions. And they are normally used also very natural clothing like linen or cotton. Another version or another kind of Daoist shoes is the so-called Yunxie. And Yunxie means cloud shoes, and the cloud shoes, maybe some of you already know the term cloud wandering. This is also where these kind of terms come from. The cloud shoes don't have the white spots on the side, but they have kind of attachments here, which is in the shape of clouds, some swirls here on the heel and on the front. Usually they have also some kind of leather inlay here for wandering, so they don't break. Not like the chiffon here, they have only cotton or linen, and they have like a attachment here on the side for wandering, or especially also for Kung Fu training, for martial arts. Very common to wear these shoes. Okay. The next photo is showing the Gaogong here. And here you have a special kind of shoes only worn by the Daoist priests during the ceremonies. And they're quite high, so they have a attachment here. The sole is quite tall. Sometimes they are 5 or 7 centimeters, even higher. And they have a special attachment, a symbol on the front part, and a lot of cloud symbols on the side. The priest is always a very lofty kind of symbol, or symbol for a high, lofty individual. And the shoes are also have a special rounding here on the heel and on the front for the Daoist priest steps. It's called Tiangang or Bugang, Gangbu, the special ritual stepping. And they are, most of the time, this is also interesting, in the ancient times they use wood, so it's quite hard for the Daoist priest. But the last pair I ordered, I have a tailor who made me a pair, and they don't use wood because it's very difficult to use or to make it. They now use foam, normally like a normal modern kind of shoe. Let's go to the next part. The heads. Here we have quite a few heads. And let me see if you can see the right photo. One moment. Okay, should open now. Okay, so thank you for staying with me. My slow computer connection is really taking their time. Okay, here's a kind of design I want to show first, because I like the way of simplicity. They just show the drawing. So we have several head accessoires or heads. Uniform. Part of the uniform is a Daoist head attachment. And first, the long hair is not necessary for a Daoist. Many of you don't wear long hair, and still are Taoist practitioners. It is depending on each practitioner or each lineage, what kind of lineage the Taoist follows. It is really not necessary to have long hair. There's, of course, different ways to tie the top knot, and in today's class we will not talk about the top knot, but in the next class we were gonna talk more about this and also something else. I'm gonna introduce the next week's class later on. So let's continue with the hats first. The hat have different meanings, and I'm going to introduce a few, more or less those you see daily in the temples. We have the Jin, and Jin, or the last character here, means the hat, or actually is called a towel or kind of clothing you wrap around your head, because there's many here. You see the one here on the top is called Xiaoyajin. Yeah, is one attachment here on the top knot. I will show you a photo of this later, but let's start with the Jin, and I means one and Zi means character. So this is just a banda or a band wrapped around the head. Here you have a symbol of the yin yang, and this is also a kind of clothing or locking mechanism here. Some of you see this, and this part is supposed to be on the back. So if you see somebody wearing this on the front, it's supposed to be on the back and cover the jade pillow here on the back of the head, and should not be in the front. It should just be the black part. This is black and the wood color here, but you also have like this part here. Jin is just one banda here. I will show you in a moment. The Jin. Here you go. Here is the locking mechanism, and usually you wear this on the back, like I just mentioned. The old Taoists. So here you have the, what I just mentioned, the Xiaoyaojin. Is also a very simple attachment as a clothing covering the top knot, and then you have a banda around here, which is called Xiaoyaojin. Xiaoyao means like careless or carefree, so it's a very formless or informal head or headwear. The next is the Zhuangzijin. What I want to show you is the Zhuangzijin. This is the Zhuangzijin. I don't know if somebody is writing something in the chat. I will review the chat later. I hope you can be patient with me on this one here. I want to show you the uniforms first, the hats, and then maybe we answer some questions later. So here you see the so-called Zhuangzijin. Zhuangzi is the very famous philosopher, and this hat, here is also a jade stone attached. Sometimes you don't have the jade stone. It also depends on the liking of the person who wears the hat. It's just a very simple squared hat.
Sorry, I still see the black belts with a yellow background picture. Probably it's for everyone the same, or?
Oh, okay. Thank you for telling. Thank you. I will show you the hats then. Okay. So do you see now the person with the hat?
Yep.
The Taoist? Okay, then let's continue. Here's the yellow and black picture, what you just saw. And here's the Zhuangzijin. Thank you, Simono. Okay, thank you for telling me. All right, so here's the Zhuangzijin. Like I said, there's a little jade stone attached on the front. Jade is also a very nice accessoire. Many Taoists use jade, and we come to this also in a moment. Here's another headwear, which is called the Taiyang or the Taiyang or the sun hat. It's just a big round hat, covers the face, protecting the Daoist from the sun. Usually we wear this working in the fields. Here is another headwear, very old. I would call this the Chongyang Jin. Chongyang is the name of Liu Zu or Liu Dongbing, and he is very famous for wearing the kind of hat which looks like a, with all the respect, like a birdhouse. And I mean, this is very obviously that there's a cover just extending over the forehead. Yeah, also symbols on the head. I have another good picture of it. One moment. There was already. Okay, here you see also this we would refer to a Chongyangjin, or also here you see the Huijian, what we had on the uniforms before. They're attached on the back, so they're just falling on the back of the body. This is also symbolizing the sword of wisdom, and the head here you see. I hope you can see it. Here's the top part, the kind of which is the shape of the roof, with all due respect, but it's just simply to explain it this way. And the next uniform or next headwear is the so-called Hunyuanjin. Hunyuanjin is a round, it's the same what I wear now, a round kind of hat with a hole in the middle where you just stick out your top knot. And there's different ones. This one here is the most simplified ones. The one I wear is actually handmade with some strings, so it's more air coming through. If you wear this for the whole day, it's get really sweaty, and the modern Daoists, they like now this kind of wear. It's more netty or net kind of fabrics, and it's easier to breathe. So inside have kind of paper or carton, so it's keep the shape. And many old Daoists, they just take the paper out or the carton out, and it's just a piece of cloth. And because they wear it for so many years, the paper or the carton is already worn out, but the clothes are still intact. One example is Renfa Rong. He's wearing his hat without the paper. Okay. Here is a ceremony. It's probably the Baisha ceremony where the or a ritual where the Daoist, here is obviously a Daoist nun, becoming a disciple or becoming a Daoist, and the master is putting an attachment on her hair. And the attachment we're gonna see in a moment. The other picture I want to show you is the excuse me. The ritual is also that the master is combing a little bit of the hair, and sometimes the master is also doing the top knot. Here you see he's wearing a special crown, and we come to the crowns in a moment. You see a special crown, which is called the Lianhua Guan, or Guan is called crown, or like a special head attachment, which is not usually or not worn. It's not worn by usually Daoists, but by Daoist priests during the ceremonies. And there are different crowns for different rituals, and of course, there's also not only the priest wear crowns, but this special crown here, like the color already suggested, is one of the higher symbols or higher head attachments, and they're only worn by the Daoist priest during the ceremonies. You don't see a Daoist wearing this training Qigong or anything, right? You don't see this outside of the temple hall or outside of the altar hall. Especially also, what I forgot, I have a little side note here on my paper, for the uniforms. The uniform, what you wear daily, the hanfu, the normal working clothes or the daily clothing, it is, you do everything, daily tasks, cooking, cleaning, everything. But for the Fa'i, for the Jingyi, these clothes, you don't practice Qigong with this, or you don't practice martial arts with this, or even drinking tea or sitting. Is only for ceremony. This clothes even never leave the altar sometimes. And I see some photos also online from some Daoists drinking tea in these kind of uniforms. And my Daoist brothers in China, when they see this kind of photos, and this is Western Daoists, I don't want to call names or anything, it's not why I'm here, but it's important to know that these uniforms have a reason and they have a tradition, and to know these are the most foundation or most basic knowledge. That's why I do this class, to avoid mistreating these kind of artifacts. In my eyes, the Fa'i is important. A part of the ceremony is a tool, and the rope, the red rope, the Jingyi, is the same. You wear these kind of things during a situation where you come in contact with the deity, and this should be treated as something important. So the same with this crown. You only wear this, and this is also called Liu Jiao Guan. They have sometimes 6 kind of leaves here. This one here is obviously a very cheap one. It's probably aluminum, gold colored, but there are, I downloaded a photo of a very old one, but it's a very, very small quality, so I rather not show it. But here you have another kind of crown. We call this the Yu Ya Guan. Is kind of round, crescent shape, like a moon. And this is what, there was a photo of the Daoist wearing it here. What she is, or what the master is putting on her head now. So it's a round attachment, which is put sideways, and the stick is just holding it on the hair. And the same kind of lock or kind of mechanism with the crown. You just put a stick through the hair and then back into the crown, so it just stick onto the hair. Here is another crown to make it complete. This is called Wuye Guan, or 5 peak of 5 mountain, if you want to call it this way. And you have 5 type of talisman on here. What exactly these symbols mean, we can maybe talk in a private session, but this is also a different head attachment or crown, which is also worn only by certain Daoist priests. But for your information, to make it complete, there's different kind of crowns, of course, different kind of heads. And now I want to show you the accessoires. I hope it's gonna work easier now with the opening. Thank you for staying with me, everybody. I hope you enjoy the class.
Yes, very much.
We are 12 people still, and I think we are very good in time. Somebody told me it's gonna show if it's only 10 minutes left, I hope they're going to show it and the class is not just cutting off. Okay, let's wait for the photo to open. Okay. It's quite slow. I'm really sorry for that. Next time, I probably pre-open all the photos and then it's go much faster. So, can you see my fuchen? The fuchen. Okay, this is called a fuchen and it's a very famous Daoist accessoire. It's called the fuchen. It's or in English we also call this the horsetail whip or oxtail whip. Now, when you buy one new, usually for the price, it's not real horsehair. It's fake horsehair and sometimes ox hair. The real horsehair is very expensive, and sometimes you have old ones, and the old ones have an attachment. I couldn't find a photo of this, but I can explain. They still have the tailbone attached on the as a grip. Basically, is basically the oxtail with the bone as a grip, and Daoists use this as a tool, or it's basically a broom. Yeah, you can just sweep the dust away, which is also what fuchen means, sweeping the dust away, or a duster for your meditation place, or the flies bothering you during the meditation. Is also used for martial art training or for qigong practices, but this is a very common Daoist accessoire. And we come to the next. Here's one which is called yin yang huan, or yin yang hand wrist rings. They are cross sections. You see, they are attached to each other. You cannot take them apart, and they have here, as you can see, some symbols carved in, and they are just a very good symbol for the yin yang, for the always changing connection. You cannot take one away from each other. So this is also seen quite often. Here is something we call fazan or hairpin. Here is my hairpin. Is a hulu shape or a bottle gourd shape, and ones here are more complicated. There are different styles, dragons and clouds, and all these. They have the task to, of course, or they have the reason to keep the hair tight. A hairpin, very simple, and there's different ways of wearing it. The way from this way, left to right or right to left, and the way from front to back. They also symbolize the yin yang, or the daytimes. You have the ziwu zan is also called ziwu zan, yeah, or the maoyin zan, maoyu is the times of the day where the yin yang is at its peak, or the yin yang is in balance. Yeah? If you want to learn more about the ziwu times, maybe you could watch some of the Dao talks I gave earlier. I talk a lot about this there. But today's class is about uniforms and accessoires. So let's go ahead and have a look. Here is a bottle gourd or hulu, called hulu. And this is probably a smaller one, yeah, which just looks quite big, but it's actually old. You see, if this is a real hulu, it's very, very shiny. And just grab a small one. What I already use for 10 years. You see, it's also quite shiny, and you just wear it like this and give yourself a massage or at the in the face, and the oil from the face is also making this very shiny. This is like the non-professional. This is also kind of culture in China. The hulu has an attachment here, which is called also the dragon head. And normally this is kind of a little accessoire. People wear it around the neck or just use it as a massage. Bigger hulu, I also have some, they are bigger. You can even open them, carve them out and put things inside. I usually put medicine inside because they are very good to keep things dry and dark. So it's very good. That's why they call bottle also, bottle gourds. Here is a piece of jade. Called jade is a very important important accessoire for Daoists. I have several pieces of jade wearing it daily because the jade, there's a saying, if you wear the jade for 3 years and like touch it, after a certain time it will give you healing energy. So it's just help you cleaning the body from toxins and such. So usually you have a lot of different kind of jades, and this is probably a piece of jade which was attached to a head, and you also have round ones which you can put in the pocket or wear around the neck. Very famous for Daoists, of course, the sword, the baojian. The fuchen and baojian is also a kind of symbol for the Wudang. These are Wudang Daoists in the Wudang Daoist lineages. Many masters give one sword and one fuchen to the disciple during the disciple ceremony. And there's, of course, many kinds of sword. Just very simple. Here's a ritual sword, and here's probably just a modern display sword. Just a souvenir. But this one here, oops, this one here on the left side, this has a lot of symbols, a lot of fu. If we want to look deeper into this, it probably takes a little bit longer. I just downloaded this photo to show there's different kind of photos, but what exactly is on here, maybe we can also talk in a private section if you have the question. But in general, this is a ceremony sword. A lot of fu and talisman, a lot of energy or spiritual symbols attached on here, and you see it's already quite old. All right. Here is another hulu, and you see here's a very long dragon head. This is called the lungtao. Another accessoire, but also tool. And next class is about Daoist tools and artifacts. So I will not show or talk too much about tools today, but it's also seen in many Daoist practices or in many Daoist centers. It's called luopan, or the so-called feng shui compass. And it's just a tool for seeing the directions. And of course, you can also use this also to change the energy in the house or in the room, which is just depending on the master's skills and how to use this. Okay, a very simple accessoire is the bag. Here I just, to make it complete, we have the bags. They are also worn by Daoists, but here you have the worn by Buddhists, but here you have the Daoist symbol, the Bagua and the Yin Yang, Dao Fa Zhen, Zhonggua Daojiao. And here you have another pair of the Yin Yang Huan. and this is actually a bamboo root, and I want to show you that there's also more complicated kind of things. It is art to make this. It is a complete root, and how they are attached, and maybe this is a thing for you to find out. Okay, but this is really beautiful. I like this one a lot. Okay, let's see. Okay, then this was all what I had to show. I will just close this very quick. Okay, so we are back in the classroom. Can you see me, everybody? I hope so. Yep. I guess the class is going to end in a moment, and I would like to thank everybody for joining me in today's class. I'm very happy, Fushan Wuliang, very happy for all these new faces, especially the new people joining the class today. And next week, on the 19th, same time, we have another class, and we're going to talk about Daoist tools and artifacts. And I decided to change the name of this free course. We call this Discover Daoism, because this is also one kind of my mission, to let everybody have the chance to discover Daoism with me together. And if you have questions, you could ask them now. I will have a few moments in a time probably to answer some more questions. And otherwise, you could also just contact me via the usual messenger or email. If you like, join us next week and maybe give us some feedback if there was a problem with the connection or anything we could do better. We want to give you the best experience with the tools we can use. And of course, I'm not an expert on the IT section, but if you have any advice, I'm very happy, and you're welcome to contact me also about this. Critics as well. So I'm open for everything, suggestions, and let's have a few minutes time for questions. If you have questions, I think you just need to open your microphone manually. And I also open the chat now to see for those who don't have a microphone. Yeah, Simon, do I need to open the microphone?
No, I'll just make a note that maybe.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, hey.
Hello.
Maybe it's a big question, but for me, a basic one. Why heads at all? In other religions or cultures, you have, for example, the Jewish tradition of wearing a kippah for religious reasons, or in Christian churches you should take everything off if you enter the church of your head. So how is the perspective from Daoists to cover the head at all?
Okay, so there's of course always many answers to this question. It's a very good question, and thank you for the question. I hope everybody understood what he was asking. Why do Daoists wear hats at all, or why do religion people have this culture of hats? And the Daoists have the tradition or the culture of Daoist medicine, or also the Qigong system. Many people know already. Through this kind of practices, there is a system, energy channel system called meridian system, and of course there's many points or gates we can enter these energy channels, and of course depending on the life circumstances, there's exposure, and when you expose those gates, there could be diseases come in, or also evil spirits. If you talk about the religious part, there's also the idea of why we wear this kind of top knot, or why we wear a crown is also for protecting the priest. The robe, for example, is protecting the priest, the practitioner. You have very similar kind of culture in the Catholic Christian culture. You have special robes, you have hats, and they're all kind of symbols for the practitioner, but they're all for the Daoists now. These kind of headwears or hats, or also the crowns, they protect the Daoists from certain things, like during the ceremony, or during the practices, you have protection for yourself, and also they can channel. This is, I don't like to use this word, but they can also channel the energy, the spiritual energy. Usually, you wear the crown, for example, just above the baihui. Baihui is the point on the top of the head, which is also now covered here, and these, for example, these top knots, they have also some symbols, and during the ceremony, or during the Baishi ceremony, the discipleship ceremony, the Shifu supposed to seal also this kind of gate to let good energy in, but keep the bad energy out. So you have also kind of this symbolism in the headwear. Leave or protect the practitioner. And there's also, of course, different cultures. You have different eras in this definitely comes from China. I don't need to say this, but you have different eras or different dynasties. So you also have different headwears. And because now we are in a modern time, we can review all these kind of eras and also see what kind of tradition, and as I mentioned before, we use a lot of clothes or a lot of styles from the Han dynasty, but it also depends on the, like I said before, on the lineage, on the practitioner's lineage, and the headwear is just kind of part of the culture as well, and this is the second answer, as well as a symbol, as well as a tool for the practitioner. And the meaning behind this is also giving us always a kind of light on our path. Like I said before, you have an attachment on the clothes you see every day when you wear it is the huidian. So all the hats, all the clothes, the uniforms also give us or remind us on what we're doing here. Okay, I hope I could answer a little bit on your question.
You have a question?
Yes.
What about lay people? Are there special garments that lay people wear? And are lay people allowed to wear certain priestly or monkish garments, such as the special shoes?
So thank you for the question. Yeah, everybody could understand the question. So can lay people wear the uniforms, or do you have extra clothing for lay people? It is also similar in the Buddhism. You have, of course, lay people uniforms, but you can wear whatever you want. You know, there's rules and regulations are always made by people for people, right? And to keep order, to separate the Taoist priest or the master from the student. For example, you have different uniforms, but the idea behind this is, of course, that you just follow a step-by-step system. This kind of ranking or things is not very important for a lay person. It's just for a monk or monastery thing. So you will come, for example, a lot of monks, and it's very common in China even now that a lot of monks stay in a temple for a certain time and then go to the next place, and then they always will see new people, and you just will see the kind of status of this person just by wearing the uniform. But everybody is wearing normal uniforms. Just during the ceremony, of course, you have different kind of uniforms. You have the Taoist priest, with the most colorful uniforms, and during the ceremony, you have also the musicians. They wear a certain uniform. You have the the Daoists who are also chanting and supporting the whole ceremony. The Jingtuan, we call the team, the scripture team. And lay people are usually wearing normal clothes. There's no regulation for you must wear this when you go into a temple. Normally, people put their pants in the socks. If you believe in this, you enter the temple and put the pants in the socks if you don't wear the white socks, because the energy, it's a very wide question, but to make it simple, this is something what a lot of lay people do if you don't wear the socks. But it's also not necessary if you don't believe in this. But if you start getting in deeper into the religion, also with the spiritual part, yeah, you understand there's a spiritual body or energy body, and in the temple there's a lot of spirits, and you want to keep your own spirit on you, so you close them. This is kind of things what lay people all do, as well as the monks. The monks wear the socks, and usually if you go into a course, for example, and learn all these kind of techniques or methods or ceremonies as a lay person, yeah, you learn also how to wear that, or you learn the meaning behind this. If you're interested in learning this, of course, there's always the possibility to wear this, and there's no rule that you cannot wear this. I think these robes, they are available online. Everybody can wear them or buy them. That's why a lot of lay people, or I don't want to say unprofessionals, but they didn't have the knowledge. It's a special photo I see. Yeah, they wear these important robes, or these spiritual artifacts, tools, drinking tea and laughing and maybe drinking beer. Yeah, it is just depends on the knowledge. Yeah, maybe their master or their teacher didn't teach them the right way, and that's why I want to open up these doors and these knowledges for everybody, because it's very simple and very basic, and it's also it's my work, my mission, to teach this kind of things also for those who want to learn it. And lay people, for example, to probably answer the question very short, a lay person, like we have visitors here, they are Daoists, they didn't become a disciple yet or enter the Daoist lineage. They usually wear their normal clothes. If they like, they can also wear this kind of blue uniform, the hanfu, the small, or xiao dao fu. This is very common. Don't need the socks. It's just usually in China, in the temples, people put the pants in the socks, and whenever new visitors come to the Wudang temple in Germany, Yijingguan, I will also explain the reasons behind this or the meaning behind this, but it depends on everybody if they want to do it or not.
Good. Thank you.
Maybe anybody else have a question? Linda, did I answer your question right?
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
Great. Okay, so if anybody has another question, please go ahead. The time might run out any moment. Or maybe they give us another free hour, I don't know. After last class, some of the participants wrote me and told me that they usually do an extra bonus on the first class, but now it's probably running already for over 1 hour and we're still on. He said they gonna cut the class very sharp, don't even tell you. So, well, I'm not a professional, and it's the second time we use this Zoom, and I hope it's getting better. Probably this class was better than the last one, and next class will become even more better.
Good.
somebody asked, oh yeah, I just see a question in the chat. Somebody asked, how much do these clothes cost? And thank you, Paola from Italy for this question.
Ciao, Shifu.
Hey, tsube, Paola.
Ciao.
Ciao. I just saw your question and I have a very quick answer. There's very cheap ones and there's very, very expensive ones. And it doesn't matter how expensive they are, you need to like them. And also, there's a saying in China, 一分钱一分货, you get what you pay for. But there's also wish, yeah. If you know wish, you buy things for really little money and the stuff comes and it's really not worth even to look at it. So if you think about to buy stuff, don't buy it on wish. I hope they will not sue me for this, but I have a student, a disciple, who buy a thing there, a clothes, and it's basically like the one-way underwear, or the underwear you only wear one time and throw them. So the throwaway underwear, and the fabrics are really bad. So if this is one example, the cheap one. The really expensive ones are probably handmade and hand stitched. But nowadays, I mean, I will not do any advertisement for our Dao shop here, but on our Dao shop you have normal fabrics. We use this clothes for training Qigong, training martial art, and also do the normal Daoist practices. These kind of uniforms, they are available, but to be honest, you need to see if you like the fabrics. Yeah? So we have a certain standard for our school, for our association, but of course there's always different other good things.
Thank you very much, Shifu.
Welcome. 还有问题吗？我们中国朋友有没有？ Do we have another question? If you want to ask a question, you probably should just push your microphone on and you will pop up. Okay, so if there's no more questions, maybe we just could wrap the class up and just for review, what we talked today is the Daoist uniforms. We talked about the different shapes or different kind of uniforms. You have this short one, the daily clothing. The colors blue, black, and white are the normal colors. You have the long Daoist uniforms, and you have also the ceremony uniforms, which is all very different from the daily clothing, only wear during the ceremony. And then also you have several uniforms only worn by the priests. You have hats. We usually, every lineage or every school have their own uniform standards. And that's why I wear the Hunyangin, but I also have several other head attachments. But the crowns, for example, we talked about the crowns. There's also several styles, and just for your basic knowledge, basic information, now you know there is something like this, but if you want to dig deeper into this, maybe you could just reach out to me or get in touch, and we can give you an extra bonus class. But those uniforms are, of course, there's much more about the uniforms than we talked today, and there's only 1 hour time we have today, but the basic knowledge is covered during this class. We also talk about accessoires today. We have the fuchen, the baojian, the sword, and we have different other things like hairpin, we have jade. This is something Dao is wear or Daoists use daily. Of course, also non-Daoist, but as I'm a Daoist practitioner and today's class is about Daoism, I will always refer to accessoires for Daoists. Okay, so if there's no more question, then let's close the class today, and I hope this class reached you wherever you are, near or far, in a healthy state, and you are healthy and happy, and could learn something from this class about Daoism, Daoist uniforms, and Daoist culture. And please welcome to join our class next week. The next week is also Tuesday, the 19th, also 3 p.m. The Middle European time is GMT +2. And the next class topic is about Daoist tools and artifacts. So what we use to do Daoist magic, or also to work on the altar, to do our practice. And if you like, just give me feedback or share the class with your friends, or join our classes in the future. There's gonna be a whole program, free classes, Discover Daoism on Zoom, because we discovered Zoom meetings, and it gets better. Like I said, we get more into this kind of tools, and we are Daoists, but we are not afraid of the modern technology, but we just need to learn it. Practice makes perfect. So I hope you enjoyed today's class. My name is Liu Weilin from the Wudang Temple in Germany. Thank
Now, Shifu.
Thank you, Shifu.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good day. Stay healthy.
See you next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Ciao. Bye bye. Thank you for joining us, everybody.